Fight or serve. Arrogance. Humility. BD number 2923. October 13, 1943. To reach maturity, man has to overcome resistances because his ascent is only possible when he fights or serves. The apostasy from God has taken place in self-conceit, in the wrong assumption to be so powerful that the being could renounce God, that it is also in full possession of power without him. And therefore, the spiritual wanted to rule next to God to put itself above God through increase of its own power. And it now has to go, the way backwards. It has to be able to rule with God, first recognize its lack of power and now wrestle and ask for the power it lacks. It has to serve God in deepest humility and the being-ness, which is associated with it. It has to fight or serve, therefore overcome itself. It has to become humility out of its arrogance and now strive for the power, which it once possessed and proved itself unworthy of it. So it must produce the proof of worthiness and testify to this through wrestling and serving. But when now the feeling of ruler is too strongly developed in man, then he must fight against it. He must therefore wage a fight against himself. And this is considerably more difficult. He is to practice humility also towards the neighbor. He must get rid of the arrogance, which he brought up towards God, by turning towards his fellowmen in serving love. These are also God's creatures, and they are to be treated as men before God and not as standing under him, but as equal. And so man is a ruling nature. He must overcome himself very much, if he wants to comply with this requirement. He must serve where he wanted to rule, he must wrestle where he thought he could determine. Only in this way can he develop to the height, for his nature will earn him many resistances on which he can mature. And he will not have overcome himself until he gives up his former arrogance, until he stands small and humbly opposite God and desires to be united with him. Amen.